There's a place in Idaho where history roars, legends flow, and tragedy whispers through the mist. Welcome to Shoshone Falls, otherwise known as the Niagara of the West. But don't let its beauty fool you. Beneath these cascading waters lie stories of adventure, resilience, and peril. So what are we waiting for? Let's dive into the tales of this iconic waterfall. Long before tourists marveled at its majesty, Shoshone Falls was a place of survival and spirituality for the Shoshone and Bannock people. According to legend, the great coyote Ajuba carved the Snake River and its waterfalls while attempting to contain a mighty flood. His final dam became Shoshone Falls, a masterpiece truly born of chaos. But that's not the only story for these people. The falls were also a sacred gathering place, where the Shoshone people fished for salmon returning from the Pacific Ocean. That's so crazy, right? How far they'd have to come from there? Wow. But the trout couldn't travel any further because of how tall Shoshone Falls is. The falls are a 212-foot drop, which creates an impossible barrier, thus creating and shaping the ecosystems of everything around here. But that's not the only amazing thing about this height. Did you know that Shoshone Falls is taller than Niagara Falls, aka why it gets its name, the Niagara of the West? But let's step back in history again. For centuries, Shoshone Falls remained a hidden treasure to just the people who lived here. But that all changed in 1883 when the Oregon Short Line Railroad brought curious tourist rights to its very edge. A young entrepreneur, Charles Walgamont, saw an opportunity and opened a tent hotel on the canyon rim. But adventure always comes at a cost. And over the years, tragedy would strike. The Snake River upstream from the falls was home to one of Idaho's deadliest ferry crossings. You can see that on the blue dots here. In 1904, tragedy struck when a ferry boat broke loose and 2 rescue boats were swept over the brink, claiming 3 lives. The news shocked the nation, with headlines like "Hurled to Death in a Cataract." But those weren't isolated incidents. In 1905, ferryman Dan Kingsley lost control of his boat and plunged over the falls, and as you can imagine, he didn't make it. And then again in 1907, a cable broke, leaving passengers adrift. And they only survived because they were clinging to the broken cable that was cemented to the falls. They had to pull themselves close enough to shore to be rescued. Yikes. As you can see, the falls have a reputation of both awe and danger. But not all stories in this area are rooted in actual history. At a place called Lover's Leap, legend speaks of a Shoshone maiden who leapt into the canyon, heartbroken over the separation from her lover. Visitors to the site claim that it carries an unshakable melancholy, as if the canyon itself is mourning her loss. This area has now been gated off to prevent future possible incidences. In more recent history, Idaho had a famous guest who tried to make this area famous: Evel Knievel. In 1974, there was an attempt by Evel Knievel to rocket over the Snake River Canyon. However, the canyon had other plans for him and he didn't quite make it. Seems like the Shoshone Falls are full of history all the way around. Today, Shoshone Falls tells a quieter tale, and it is extremely different than what it was when it first became popular. Irrigation and hydroelectricity projects have tamed this once mighty roar. It was said that the falls were once heard over 10 miles away, but now the flows are at the mercy of the dams and diversions that are used for irrigation. Yet, don't worry, you could still get a glimpse into the past. That is during the spring's peak snowmelt, which is the grander return of the falls. With the grandeur of the falls, it's hard to not imagine how artists and photographers have long tried to capture the fall's beauty. Thomas Moran painted it for the 1901 Pan America Exposition, while Timothy O'Sullivan, famed for his Civil War photos, immortalized its power. Yet, no canvas or photograph can truly convey the feeling of standing here at the falls. I think at this point, we can all agree the Shoshone Falls is more than just a waterfall. It's a place where geology, mythology, and human history collide. So whether you visit for its beauty, its legends, or the echoes of the past, remember this: every roar of water carries a story, one that waits for you to hear it. Thanks for joining us today on our journey to Shoshone Falls. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more adventures, and let us know what story about this fall fascinated you most, and we'll see you next time.